Okay, so welcome everyone. Let's start. Today we will explore some more details about the kinds of mental states that happen once we reconnect to another realm. And it's gonna be very interesting. So welcome everyone. Best wishes for all the family. And let's start by recollecting ourselves in the present moment, touching base with the body, touching base with wind, allowing the present moment to be as it is. We don't want to change when we practice, we want to understand. Later, when wisdom is complete, it will do the changes that are necessary. It will know which ones. We settle in any physical sensation, our breath, the touch of the cloth in our body, temperature, pressure, weight, and check at once the state and tone of the body. Is it relaxed, tense? And if we recognize, we start releasing, allowing the present moment just to be as it is. We are at peace with it. Now we turn our attention to the mind, and in the same manner, we contemplated at once what tone it has, what color it has right now. And with a clear awareness, we accept it as it is. We don't want to change it. We want to know. If there is some mental tension, or we have been experiencing some mental tension recently because of any situation, now is a beautiful time, nice time to release. Remembering that it's our choice to get hooked. It's our choice to roll on things that might cause more tension. External situations are the same. Our attitude and understanding is what makes the difference. Now we remember all our human family, especially those who are less fortunate than us. We remember our direct family, parents, children, grandchildren, brothers and sisters, friends, wishing them to be well deeply. At the physical level, mental level, may the understanding of nature accompany us. May we accompany our friends and children to make them understand the nature of the world, the changes. Welcome everyone. Welcome, welcome. We continue with this intention, and let's offer this effort that we're about to embark in for our benefit, for our mental peace, because the world will need us, our family will need us, will need it, and we offer it to the world as an effort to increase our maturity as human beings. Thank you and welcome everyone. We start appreciating and remembering all our teachers, especially the teacher of all of them, the Buddha, the blessed one, the fully enlightened one. And together we recite Namo tassa bhagavato arahato sama sambuddhassa Namo tassa bhagavato arahato sama sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato sama sambuddhassa. Iti piso bhagava araham sama sambuddho vichacharana sampano sukato lokavidu anutaro purisa dhamma sarati satta deva manusanam buddho bhagavati. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. Okay, my dear family, welcome everyone. Let's start today with the exploration. Let's see what surprises and wonders nature has for all of us. Hopefully that we can incorporate them in our practice and mainly understand that we are just part of a big natural movement that we have little control of, but we can lead at least the part that is responsibility, this consciousness towards inner goodness and service for others.
So welcome everybody. And so we are going to continue tonight with Patisandi and Bugala. Okay, so
Patisandi, as a reminder, is the consciousness that connects the first consciousness that we experience as we enter a new birth, a new life. We had one Patisandi on this life. The very moment that the conception happens, sperm enter the little egg. At that moment, consciousness enters from it arises from it just died millisecond ago, and it doesn't stop, as you know, and immediately enters into the moment of conception when the two the male and female parts join, and we experience Patisandi at that time, and has all the information from which that we left off. So now in our Pali class, it is very beautiful to see the etymology, and you will start getting the fruits of the Pali studies. We were exploring with the teacher the etymology and meaning of Patisandi, and we knew both of words separately, but we never make them up. We thought it was a third word. I don't know, that happens a lot with language. So it happens that Sandi means something that comes together. Sandi, when you put two things together, that's called Sandi. You join two things together. And Pati means again. So can you see the beauty of the etymology of the word? It's not the reconnect, it's not a consciousness. We already on this course, let's update the meaning, the real meaning based on the etymology and what the Buddha chose those words to call it such a way. We know Patisandi, okay, is something that happens when we reborn, as I just said, but when we recollect on the meaning of the word, it's again, something came up together. Then you follow up, okay, something came up together. What was the something? And immediately the most logical answer is the 5 aggregates. The aggregates of matter, the 4 elements of the mind, as we know, the perception and the mental formations, the chetasikas and the chitta comes together, and everything comes back again. Pati, Sandi, join together again to have another adventure in a new life. And when we die, if we haven't cut this natural cycle of regeneration of energy, be it in the physical level or being it in the consciousness level, it will just continue rolling. Energy is not destroyed or created, it just changes form in nature, and that's just how nature is. So very beautiful to get it. Let's listen that joined again. That's the thing. Something came back again, and that it's us right now. We are those 4 aggregates, mind and matter interacting.
Yes. So as we are human beings, Bhante mostly explained about human beings, like the 5 aggregates, because remember, there are beings that are without mind, or there are beings that are without body. So for those other beings, sometimes those beings that does not have a body, for the arupa beings, non-material beings, that will be only 4 aggregates, no? And for the Asanyasata, only matter beings without mind, there will be only 1 aggregate, no? So there are 1 aggregate beings, 4 aggregate beings, and we are 5 aggregate beings.
Yes.
No? And also, yes, and also like when Bhante explained about the conception, that's for human, and for some devas, some kinds, because some of other beings, they are born in different ways. Some are born in an egg, some are born spontaneously, like the Brahmins. So there are different kinds of birth, but mostly we can understand in the most familiar way as a human being. No?
Yes, I will generally, thank you, Charana, I will generally be focusing on what pertains to us, and I always have this focus towards myself is how can we apply what we're learning in direct experience? Otherwise, it just become theory or something. So yes, thank you, Charana. I keep in mind that I generally will be referring to us, to a human being.
Yes, since we are studying Abhidhamma, so the Buddha explained about how mind and matter works in all kinds of ways, in all kinds of beings, doesn't matter whoever has a mind. So also sometimes if we forget about other beings, then sometimes like this is kind of strange. Why is that? Or something could happen when we see some content. So, okay, because this is not human. No, this is for some other beings. So it is also possible. Just
now, it is important to remember that we have the potentiality to change onto those beings. We could become a Brahma, we could become a Deva, depending on the practice, the credit we live this life with, or we could, hopefully not, any being could go to lower realms. Why is it important getting it into context? Why is it important to be talking about all these kinds of beings if we are just human beings? Is because the Buddha is explaining how the universe works and the possibilities, especially to encourage us to do the right thing, to know what destinations are available in nature and which kind of actions are leading us where, so we cannot complain regarding our present life, the conditions of our present life, and especially in this case, more importantly, the conditions of future reconnections or recoming together again.
So let's start with today's content. Last week we talked about that whatever quality of mind it is, then the destination or the place, a suitable place for those kind of quality of mind, it will match. So it's just only a matter of the quality of the mind and the realms and the place. Yes. So in this way, we can understand that it is very important and we are totally responsible of our own actions and where we are. No, whether it would be actions from the past or also the actions that we are doing now is going to determine the coming future.
Greatly.
So now we have seen that there are 4 lower planes, 1 human plane, 6 Deva planes, 16 fine material plane, and 4 non-material planes. And today we are going to look at which kind of chitta will be the Patisandhi chitta, will be the rebirth linking consciousness, technically the chitta that is beings that are reborn in those realms will be with those kinds of rebirth consciousness.
Rebirth consciousness. Okay. You're going to explain now to them, no?
Yes.
Going to start. Okay. I have one annotation that I forgot to do last week. Okay. Something that is really amazing, my dear family. We were discussing last week, as I remember briefly, about the understanding of science regarding the nature of the world. In this case, we are exploring the different realms that there are. And for me, I don't know how far really are we as human beings to understand, but I just want to mention something that in the theories of, especially on string theory, I was mentioning that through mathematics, as humans, we have figured out theoretically that in order for matter to give an explanation where matter is going, we know it arises here and it lives here. But we cannot make up where this matter is coming. I was mentioning briefly, and I'm oversimplifying it. Scientists and theoricists and mathematicians have figured out that in order for matter to be able to be explained, all the movements, as far as I have heard, they include different dimensions. Well, something that I want to point out that is really, really, really interesting is that in general, there are different consensus on how many, but there is a number that comes very often, and which is 11 dimensions. They are required. I don't know if we agree on that. I think often they speak about 11 dimensions that must be around for matter to be moving. Well, my dear family, look at the screen on there. The Buddha explained all this before, and then I start thinking about different dimensions and think. And if you count 4 of the lower realms, plus 1 is 5, and 6 of the devas, that just becomes 11. I mean, I don't want to make any kind of theory or anything, but just look at the numbers. And beyond that, they are the fine materials, which it's unseen, and already the devas is unseeable for us humans and our machines. But theoretically, when you make accounts, mathematics is just logic, and plus you just pull the string. We don't know yet. I don't know if it's going to be possible to be confirmed. Even some theories about string theory, they think it cannot be empirical, some of the parts, but just look at this fact. If that matches, that means that scientists are already theoretically touching the possibilities of the physical world. Isn't that amazing? We theoretically are touching the first 11, and then of course comes the fine materials, and later on the Buddha goes farther beyond to explain the 16, and then the non-material planes, which are definitely, totally, might be forever out of the reach of our human scientific understanding. But do you see the beauty in it? On this, maybe as humans, I trust on our collective endeavor to try to understand nature. This parallel is, for me, it's just breathtaking. Maybe we are starting to smell. There might be some other things here. The consciousness now. Let's put it into practice. Let's put it into the Abhidhamma terms. It's not just matter arising and passing away, because in the devas we know there is fine material qualities. They do have a body, not as hard or as putrid as the one we have, smelly, like easy to decompose as the one we have, easy to be changed by temperature. But consciousness is moving. We are far from starting to study seriously consciousness in terms of science, but just in matter, it is totally matching up to now the levels of possibilities of different dimensions. For me, that is really, really passionate area to continue exploring and start wondering. Maybe science is starting to touch on the reality that, well, in order to also develop appreciation and joy, and something that 2,600 years ago the Buddha was speaking and explaining in unbelievable detail. We are now on the chapter 5, and we are going towards chapter 6, which is the one who deals precisely how matter and the possibilities of matter in this realm and in the other realms. And today we are all is going into that direction. See, I feel very inspired by this, and hopefully soon science and the Dhamma comes more together, and hopefully the Dhamma can inform also science. I hope there are windows that can open, because the Buddha spoke about all this and gave impressive descriptions of the behavior of nature on such small levels. He speaks about kalapas and the units of matter that are indivisible, and we will see in chapter 6. We are coming close to it. Okay. Thank you, everybody, and let's continue the exploration.
Okay, so
yes, Fer.
I just remember another coincidence is the description of the Buddha about the end of the earth.
Yes.
There is a sutta that explains how the world will become eventually hotter and hotter until we like a bomb. There is a theory that in many millions of years, the sun is going to expand and it's going to swallow the planet, and it can become so big so that it will literally burn the earth.
Yes,
So
yes.
that is another amazing coincidence of how the Buddha explained this, and this like is it's the same. Well, it's very similar to the explanation of the future of the solar system.
Yes, yes, yes. It is unbelievable, and I think, Fer, we can go beyond calling it a coincidence. Yes, it's a coincidence, but
Yes,
as we go
I
deeper and deeper,
understand.
the Buddha had some secrets, my dear family. He had some secrets, and to know that a human being, us, having this possibility, have the potentiality to arrive to such understanding of nature, you will be surprised. And he many things didn't spoke about, because he said, I'm just teaching the things, this full handful of leaves, the very things that we need to liberate from suffering. That was his aim. All his understanding, look at the beauty of this. All his understanding was based on compassion for humans to stop suffering. Can you believe he could have used it for any other matter? So much understanding, but he chose to liberate sentient beings from the grip of old age, how not to die, how to stop dying, how to stop becoming old, how to stop forever becoming sick. Imagine the compassion that is behind, and the use of knowledge. I hope we can, in whatever thing we work in, get inspired by whatever we can do, our ability it is. Let's put it onto the work of compassion or love, of wisdom, so we can support one another for what is most important. Yes, thank you for yes, very that and many more we will encounter in chapter number 6. It is breathtaking. I have no words. We have almost 2 decades exploring, and we never stop to be amazed. And the more advances in science, maybe more and more things will start becoming tested, really breathtaking.
Yes.
Yes, Jack.
Well, actually,
Thank you, Fer.
the Buddha has no secret. He has wisdom.
Yes. Wisdom is power. Wisdom is power. Power.
Okay, so we're going to look at those cheetahs, those rebirth consciousness that.
I couldn't wait the whole week to tell you this. No, I could actually. Otherwise, interesting. No? Okay, thank you.
Yes. So, okay. So let's see the rebirth consciousness. But before we go there, we have first to remind ourselves of some information which will be useful to understand what we are going to look at. So let's do a very quick revision about roots. Do you still remember roots? So we said that in the mind, every kind of, there are 6 kinds of roots, which is possible for any beings, except those enlightened beings. Yes. So there are on the akusala side, we have lobha, dosa, and moha, greed, aversion, and delusion. And at the kusala side and the good, and on the good side, we have alobha, adosa, and moha, which is non-greed, non-aversion, and non-delusion. So these roots are really important because just as a tree with roots, when the tree is with roots, it is so much more stable and so much more strong. The tree is so much stronger with roots than those without roots. So in the same way, these 6 cetasikas are compared as roots by the Buddha because they make that chitta very strong when they are present. That's why they are called roots. Okay, so now there are chittas that are with roots and there are chittas that are without roots, as we have said it before. So now let's see if you still remember those lobha and dosa and moha associate with what kind of chittas?
Please open your mic and let's share together. Can you hear Charana properly? Is the volume of her voice okay?
Yes.
Okay.
Okay.
So the question is,
yes. What kind of chittas does the lobha and dosa moha associate with? Anybody remember?
Yes.
Beautiful cetasikas.
Lobha, dosa, and moha.
Oh, no, no. I was thinking about aloba, adosa, and amoha.
Yes. So that will be.
So the others are.
Will be akusala.
Akusala,
Yes.
akusala mental states naturally.
Mm-hmm.
Fire follows fire. Water follows water. They don't like to mix each other. They can interact, but don't mix.
Mm-hmm. So loba and dosa and moha, they only associate with akusala chittas, no? So briefly, the 8 loba mula chitta, how many dosa mula chitta?
2.
Yes, and then the moha.
2.
2 moha mula chitta, no? Okay, so so this akusala only always associate with akusala chittas, and that is the only thing that is associated with. So in terms of mental process, it only happens in where? Many questions today.
In the javanas.
Yes, in the javanas.
Yes, in the active
only.
side of the mental process. There are some parts of the mental process that just receive information and do nothing. Just receiving is the function and pass information. And there are some other part, the javanas, as Eduard says, that are doing something with what they receive, actively planting more beauty or more ugliness.
Mm-hmm. So that means that akusala only happened, as Eduardo just now said, that it only happens in the javana place. Yes. Okay. So now, how about loba, dosa, and moha? They associate with kusala. Yes.
Kusala, or beautiful mental states.
Something else? So actually, these 3 roots, loba, dosa, and moha, it also associates with there are okay.
Function.
Yeah, I'm a little bit delayed with
Yes.
screens. Yeah, so it actually also associates with resultant and also associates with functional.
Mm-hmm.
It associates with those kusala vipaka, and kusala vipaka meaning the fruits of wholesome consciousness, and also functional meaning the those chittas that enlightened being, when they perform goodness, then only they don't, because they don't plant seeds anymore, it is not called kusala anymore, so they are called functional because it is only a function. They complete the function, but of course they associate with aloba, adosa, and amoha, but it is not called kusala. Yes. So in terms of mental, in terms of the mental process, not only in the javana stage, yes, because those resultant can happen in other places as well. No, it can happen as tadaramana, it can happen as rebirth consciousness, and all other kinds. No?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so just in case we don't remember what is what, to remind ourselves, we can go back to video number 7 for rootless resultant consciousness, and video number 8 for the rootless wholesome resultant consciousness, and video number 10 for the wholesome functional chittas. So video 7, 8, and 10, if you want to remind yourself about which kind of chittas and what they do and whether they have roots or not, then you can go back to these videos so we don't repeat it again here. Okay. Mm-hmm. Okay, so now let's go ahead with the akusala and kusala. So the main point here is that akusala, it only associates with javana. But kusala, it can associate with, the aloba, adosa, and amoha, they can associate with kusala, can associate
Explain
with...
more than the details of the thing.
Okay. Okay, so just a little bit more clearly, loba, dosa, and moha, the unwholesome roots, can only associate with active akusala mind, active unwholesome mind. Meaning when we are doing akusala, when we are doing unwholesome actions, having a greed, or having dosa, or having moha, in these cases, that is the only time that the chittas will associate with these 3 roots. Until here, okay?
Yes.
Yes. Now.
And think, do we experience those mental states in our daily life? Do we sometimes feel anger? Yes. Do we sometimes feel attachment or desire? Yes. Do we sometimes don't know what is happening? Yes, very often. So that just, let's continue bringing it home. It is us. These roots are acting right now at this very moment, be it kusala or akusala, in our mental process. But they only can go with the respective container. Only a container that can hold akusala can come inside and be effective. Only mental containers or mental states or mental moments or thoughts, or emotions, as we wish to call them, are interacting. Good containers actually the container becomes good because of the content. It becomes sweet because of the content. The jar of honey is a jar of honey because it has honey inside. And the same happens with the jar of poop.
Mm-hmm. Yes. So just okay, a little bit more revision so that we can be more clear and before we go ahead. How about when we see something that is not nice? What kind of consciousness is that when we see something that is not nice?
Unpleasant sight.
Akusala Vipaka.
Yes, akusala vipaka, chaku vinyana, no? There's unwholesome consciousness, unwholesome resultant eye consciousness,
yes.
No? So this unwholesome resultant eye consciousness, just only seeing something that is not nice, that we are not reacting to it yet. Are we already angry at that time? Just looking, just the seeing consciousness is seeing consciousness.
Perceiving something
angry?
Unpleasant.
Is it angry?
No.
No, yes,
not
yes.
yet. No,
Not yet,
yes.
no?
The mind haven't done nothing with it. It just received the fruit of a previous negative action. So then it comes as a unpleasant sight, unpleasant sound, unpleasant smell, taste, whatever.
So that
pain.
means that in the eye consciousness, it does not have any lobha or any dosa or any moha in itself. It has no roots because it's only performing a function. Let's say, although it is a resultant consciousness, is only looking, no, at that
yes.
moment. So it does not contain any roots. It's a rootless chitta, no. So also, if we see something nice at that moment, also maybe there is no understanding of wisdom yet, no, is we only seeing. So it also does not associate with any of the good roots as well. Yes. So.
Yes, my dear family, the fruit has no roots. It is totally the creation. Yeah, the creation of that fruit totally was dependent on the tree and the roots of the tree. But when you get the fruit has no root at all. But unbelievably, it has all the potential, all the information recorded in the seeds to generate new roots and new fruits and new more. It's you see the difference. We are dealing now. We are just exploring, and it happens also in the tree outside our house. In any tree that we see is happening. It is based on the root, but the fruit is not root. It has the potentiality, and it might become later on. So we can start getting it. A tree is very beautiful way to understand how we are the fruits. We are also the fruits of the human tree. We are no more than we are none what we think is not. We are only one single thing, all of us, and it's just nature, and it behaves with those lines. And this is why the Buddha explained for us to understand anatta. There is just nature doing its job, good for good, bad for bad, and we start looking at this very precise moment. Let's continue.
Yes, just a little bit clarification. Now Bante said that all the fruits does not have roots, no?
It is
so
based
actually, to be a little bit more clear, it is those consciousness, that the eye consciousness, the 10 Dvipancha Vijnana, remember? The 10 kinds of 5 sense consciousness, no? Dvipancha Vijnana.
2 times 5.
2 pancha, 5 vijnana, the 5
consciousnesses.
The 2 set of the 5 sense consciousness.
Mm-hmm.
So these 2 set of 5 sense consciousness, they have no roots, whether they are good resultant or whether they are unwholesome resultant, they have no roots. So we previously in the projection, we compared them as flowers, because flowers there are some flowers. Trees produce flowers and it produce fruits. No, but the flowers itself, it cannot give other roots. Yes, so those are kind of flowers. They have no potential to give other roots anymore. But there are, if the tree is healthy, if it is a good wholesome tree, it can produce apple as well. Then those apple have seeds, and those seeds have potential to produce roots. And those kind of apples, which are stronger resultants, they are possible to produce a rebirth. Remember? So those are it is possible that those wholesome ones that can produce rebirth. But those, the five sense consciousness and also investigating consciousness and tirana, also included in the rootless consciousness, those ones, they are weaker. Okay, until here it will okay.
Good.
Yes. Okay, so just remember that in the kusala side, in the akusala side, unwholesome side, all the resultants are rootless. And in the kusala side, some resultants are rootless and some resultants are with roots.
With root. Okay, that's so, the information we need to move on.
That's more important.
That's the point right now.
And if you want more information, then you can go back to the video previous 7, 8, and 10. Okay, now let's go ahead. So we have also seen that there are 19 kinds of resultant chittas that can produce, that are powerful enough to produce a rebirth. And by the way, also these rebirth consciousness are also for that same life. It is going to be the Bhavanga and the Chuti Chitta, no? Also, we have talked about this before. And by the way, for more details, if you don't remember, you can go back to video number 27 about functions, doors, and five senses. So there we talk about these 19 types of resultant consciousness that can produce new rebirth. Okay, so what are they? Now let's take a look. So the first set of them is the two Upekkha Santirana, the rootless investigating consciousness, and then we have 8 Sahetuka Kamavachara Vipaka. Hetu means root, yes. Hetu means root. So ahetuka, so without
non-hetu,
roots, no roots,
no root.
Ahetuka.
Yeah.
Then sa means with, together with. So sahetuka means with roots. Yes. So there are these ahetuka chittas and also sahetuka chittas. No. So the two that we mentioned before are without roots, and these apples here are 8 sahetuka with roots, kamavachara vipaka, meaning that they are the sense sphere resultant consciousness with roots. So surely they are good ones, yes, because the unwholesome ones always are without roots, yes. So these ones are powerful, that can also produce rebirths in the sense sphere.
Important Pali tip. Remember these prefixes. A means negation. We have it very clear because in Spanish we use it atemporal or something like that. And remember, sa as a prefix is always something together, coming. And the opposite will be we payuta. We is without. So we without, sa together with something, and we just by knowing that, as we start looking at the Pali words, we start getting, just by seeing the prefixes, the sense of what we are dealing with, what Buddha is pointing out.
Yeah, so sometimes there are also exceptions, no? So not all. Yeah. As a general rule, you can guess in that way.
We can start guessing. Something has something to do with togetherness, or we is separating something, or yes.
Okay. Yes. So is like the opposite of something. Yeah? Okay. Anyway, so the 8. Then we have 8 here. Then we have the 5 rupa vachara vipaka, 5 material resultants. Then we have resultants. Yes. So now let's go. Here is like I don't remember all these things or what is what. Okay, never mind.
Don't worry.
We are going to, just like our Pali teachers. Teacher, you explained this like 3 times already, but I still don't remember. Then she said, never mind. I will tell you again and again and again and again. So I will use for words now. I'll tell you again and again. So never mind. We will repeat, and then we will remember many times that we hear. Then it will become familiar, and then later, then it will be like, of course.
Of course.
Yeah.
Of course.
Okay, so now let's see. And the first type, the two Upeka Santirana, ruthless investigation chitta with neutral mental feeling. So with this kind of rebirth consciousness, relinking consciousness, obviously, quite obviously, it is one of these two is going to give
Lower
rebirth
realm.
into the lower realms.
Lower realm.
So in this, for beings who are reborn into the 4 lower planes, the unhappy destination, it is actually quite interesting because the rebirth consciousness of all the beings in all the lower realm, they are one same type, which is the Akusala Vipaka Upeka Santirana, unwholesome resultant investigating consciousness.
Let's go slowly. Unwholesome resultant. So they did something bad and that gave that result. The investigation consciousness is the kind that reconnects. Don't worry about that detail. You can see it on the videos if you wish, but it is just the kind of consciousness that is playing the function, the role of reconnecting to that unwanted destination because of a bad action, a hard one. Something bad must have happened something bad must have been done. Like, as you know, the ones that give immediate credit, this patricide, matricide, separating the Sangha, hurting a Buddha or an enlightened being, those kind of things will be. And we were reading recently, we were exploring recently, there are some other Garuka kind of karma, heavy kind of actions. And one of them, I forgot before, it was abusing of a nun. So I was like surprised. There are some more details of the things that can be consciousness to fall down. So in general, what we can get, besides father and mother, besides the depth that we have towards our parents, because we are alive thanks to their compassion, being whatever, family or not, besides that, most of the heavy actions refer to destroying the source of liberation. So it can be destroying the Dhamma, the dispensation, separating the Sangha, or hurting a person who is purified already, or the Buddha, not to say. So in general, will be not towards the key that can free us from samsara. That is mostly the heavier things. And of course, a lot of killing can also bring that, a lot of negativity in itself, hurting of some others. So by practicing sila, these kind of things can naturally and easily be avoided. We just don't kill, we just don't steal or cheat anyone, and naturally our mind will be grant itself a safety net not to go down anymore, and in the better sense, going up and up and up and up.
Yes. So yes, very, very important point that Bante just said. By keeping sila, it is very, very helpful.
Bienvenido.
It is very, very helpful for us to keep the mind in wholesome state, or less akusala, no? So therefore, less akusala result will happen. But as we have already said also before, the only way to close the door to the 4 lower realms is only the attainment of at least the first stage of enlightenment. Because now we can control what we are going to do. We keep sila, but we don't know what we did before. And those unfortunately, those
seeds
that we have
are
done,
still there.
If there is condition, it is also still going to give results. So it is not like for sure, oh, okay, I'm keep sila very well in this life, and surely I won't be reborn in one of the lower realms. That we cannot say for sure.
My dear family, as an announcement, now that we spoke about sila, we invite you, if you wish, to join every Sunday at 7 a.m. Mexico time. In this same Zoom room, we are joining together from whoever wants to take the 8 precepts takes them. We recite in Pali, then we explore the Metta Sutta, and after that we have questions about practice. I don't know how it is going. In this space, we don't have that time to deal with how your practice is going. So if you wish, you are very welcome. It is open as it is right now. And every Sunday at 7, precepts and questions about practice. We can explore. And I would recommend you to come at least from time to time, so we can touch base. How is your practice going, and what things are easy, what things are becoming difficult, and hopefully with the advice that we have heard from our teachers, we can provide something. And if not, we can ask them directly. So know that we are together, especially in these moments that life is bringing extra challenges that the ones we were used. I think is necessary. I will encourage you to come. You choose if you want to come week by week, but at least come and touch base to see how the practice is going, because it requires attention to know precisely when the tool that we were using, maybe it is already did its job. We need to continue moving. So welcome everyone. Sunday at 7.
Okay, so let's go back to the content. And now we are talking about the beings, the rebirth consciousness of beings in the 4 lower realms. So it will always be Agusala Paka, Upeka Santirana, unwholesome, resultant investigating chittas. But here, although it is called investigating, don't get confused with the function, because now at this moment, if it is performing, if it is functioning as a rebirth consciousness, it is not performing the investigating function.
That's just the name,
just
the
name
quality of the chitta, but it's doing something different, which is because of its qualities, is the first one that comes and reconnects Patisandi and makes the new life. Boom, starts again. Boom, another story as in the same way that we started this one. That we are so identified with me, my family, my name, whatever, my nationality, whatever. It is only concept, but the consciousness is just moving the same way that we came this time.
Yes, so these type of chittas, they can perform 2 functions. They can perform investigating functions when they appear, when this same type appears in the mental process of the 5 sense door mental process. So in that time, when they arise there, then they will be performing investigating. So they get the name there. But if it is arising in the Patisandi, that means it is going to be also the Bhavanga and also the Chuti of that lifetime, no? So if they happens in those other places, they are performing different kinds of functions. They are performing Patisandi function, they are performing Bhavanga function, or they are performing Chuti function. Yes, so don't get confused by the name, by investigating.
Very, very briefly, you remember the example of the father? The father at home is a father, but in his office, he is the boss or the manager, whatever. And in his parents' house, he is a son. Although at his home he is a father, when he goes to his parents, he's a son. He's the same guy, but depending on the conditions that are surrounded, is the function that is covering as a father, as a son, or as an employee or boss, whatever.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so same type
same
of
guy,
chittas, not same chitta exactly, not same,
yeah, same type of chitta
in different places,
in different function.
Yes, because chitta arise and passed away already, no?
It's not the same.
2 jobs, no? Only each one only does its own job and it vanishes, and another one arises.
Same as the father is arising and passing away,
exactly.
all the time. It's not the same father that was in the OXXO or in the office, and the one that arrived home is totally a different body already.
Yes,
oh man.
Exactly. Okay, so now we know that all the beings that are reborn into the lower realms are reborn with this kind of consciousness, which also that's why they are sometimes called also ahetuka beings, rootless beings, because they are born with this kind of chitta that are without roots. Yes. Okay. Until here, everybody okay?
Very okay.
Yes.
Good.
Okay.
Very good team. Very good team. We are moving on.
So let's go ahead. Now, then how about those kusala vipaka upeka santirana? Because we said that this can also produce, they can also function as rebirth consciousness. It can also produce a new life. So this one, although it is without root, but still it is wholesome resultant, no? It's still a kusala vipaka, no? So, but these ones is only also, as you remember, the rootless ones, there are eye consciousness, ear consciousness, and no consciousness, no? But eye only perform seeing, ear only perform hearing, nose only perform smelling. They never perform the rebirth function. The only rootless that is possible to perform as Patisandi, Bhavanga, and Chuti are only the two Santiranas, no? The two investigating, wholesome or unwholesome, with Upeka feeling, yes? Okay, so in this case, these ones which are wholesome resultant, then what is it going to happen is that some beings in the Kama Sukati, which is the sense sphere, happy destination as a human or as a deva,
devas,
could be reborn with this kind of
rebirth consciousness. So that would be
Kusala
Vipaka, Upeka Santirana. Upeka will be the sensation that will arrive, is neutral, and the fruit of a good action. Let's just keep that in mind. And the Santirana, again, is just the function and the name of the consciousness.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Are you still seeing the projection?
Yes.
Yes? Okay.
Yes.
Okay. Okay. So here, the thing is that although they are kusala vipaka, I mean, this kind of resultant consciousness, although it is result of wholesomeness, but they are weak, so they are not so powerful. So therefore, they cannot produce any good roots. So it is only, although it is in happy destination, but there are no roots. So these kind of beings are also called rootless beings, ahetuka beings, which are humans and sometimes devas, most of the time with some kind of
disability.
Yes, or some kinds of not so complete, because their karma, this patisandi karma, the karma that produces this patisandi is not powerful enough to give them everything that they need for very good life, no? So they have some kinds of difficulties. And some people may be born without eye sensitivity. So they cannot see because the karma is not strong enough to give them, to provide them with eye sensitivity for this lifetime. So or some other problems or some other disability, then most of the time these beings in the human world, or some devas even, they also could be born without any roots.
These ones are the ones who, to put it in another example, is they had enough credit to arrive to a happy destination, but not enough credit to arrive complete in their abilities. So they might be. So this is one of the reasons that the teacher and the Buddha gave about why there are some children born blind, deaf, or with not mental ability completely. So sometimes the question may come, what kind of consciousness a person with Down syndrome or autism and all the different variations happen? It is because they had enough credit to arrive to this happy destination, good destination, but unfortunately not with all the conditions to be able to cultivate themselves specifically. That's the most important. So one of the things that as monk, I feel responsibility. Sometimes people, and very recently before coming from Mexico, a couple of parents kind of saw the figure of the monk and approached their son who had a very intense illness, mental illness. And then the thing that they thought like, please offer something, kind of asking for a blessing or something. And then I explained them that actually the best thing that we can do is inspire in the way, connect with that human being, letting him know that doing good is good. Anyway, that person won't be doing bad, at least on the situation that this little boy was. So I told them, actually, I don't know how much they understood because it was brief, the encounter. But then what we try to do, or what I try to do personally when I encounter a person with Down syndrome, is allowing them to see the color of the monk. If I'm carrying it, find it. Next time, maybe not in this one, the possibility to them, but try to inspire them with goodness. Good is good. And that's the best credit that we afford these beings to get. So hopefully in the next connection, they have better clarity and something is in the back of the mind that can remember that good is good. And at some way, at least as far as we can offer, there is a way to liberate, to improve in your mind and go far and further and further from the results that you already got based on your own responsibility and previous actions. There is no curse. Often parents also arrived with us saying, what did happen chemically to get this curse of having to experience this intense experience of having a child with not the full. And then karma, it's really complex in its working. There is also good karma happening in between, and there is not common, but bad karma from the side of the parents, bad karma from the side of the children to not to have complete abilities, and from the parents to be in the situation of needing to be taken care is also not something very simple to do, unfortunately. So the best thing we can do is, in the way we can connect, my dear family, inspire that being. So often what I do is recite something, look directly into the eyes and tell them, when you hear this, go in. When you hear this, go in. Those people have some secrets important for us to liberate from this and more and beyond. So I think about all the children in the world and all the adults and all the people who may not have full conditions. Hopefully there is a light inside that can discern and understand good for good, and may we all follow on that direction. There is no impediment towards it. We can continue growing. If a blind person, there is no impediment at all to grow internally and cultivate kusala and beautiful states, and hopefully next life it will have better conditions to make it easier. But it is definitely possible. We remember all of them. Yes, Fer, there is a question. Go ahead.
Bante,
yes.
Do rootless beings have a shorter lifespan in average?
Not really, because it depends on, actually karma is very complex. So so maybe they don't have enough the karma is not strong enough to produce a life which is complete, but maybe if they had done some other good things, then those karma can support their lifespan to be longer, or some other even bad worse karma can destroy and make their lifespan shorter. So it is very hard to say exactly whether rootless beings have shorter lifespan. Even they can be reborn as the devas. So devas have much longer lifespan.
They are also,
so hard to say.
Seattle recently told us that in Deva realm there are also devas with Down syndrome. So it is like what?
I don't know
so
if it is exactly
imagine that way. So one thing, Fair, that we can explore, karma nature only works with what is pertained with. So for example, let's take a doctor. In previous life, he was a doctor. So he spent much of his time taking care of life, and he saved many lives. So that credit goes directly, precisely, and totally related to his future credit of the lifespan. So his good actions. But that doctor was a drunkard, was a drug addict. So those actions, if a being likes to numb the mind and by will likes to have the mind loose, the teacher says that one of the main causes in a lifetime for a human being to be born with Down syndrome or a mental disability or craziness, there are some people who born already with a mental stability, like heavy mental instability. It's very likely that person used to use drugs or alcohol in the past. So you see the danger of it. And often in our culture, unfortunately, alcohol is, it's just the way of celebrating. No, it's not the way of celebrating. You are getting a like for having a mind that is numb, that is cloudy, that is non-clear. If you develop a love towards that, it is very likely that next life you might be born with not complete mental ability. So let's put that doctor. He was a doctor. He did a lot of good towards the conservation and preservation of life. Those seeds were on the pot that pertains and all the, but in that case, his good karma is not very, very supportive for himself. His good karma is becoming not very good because he's having a longer lifespan, having to have difficulties for him and his family because of his bad habit of drug addiction or entertainment abuse or sexual addiction any kind of addiction generally comes, any kind of mental agitation will give the result of a mental agitation, natural state, because we already cultivated. Nature will not give a jump. So a little bit better, Per.
Yes, man. Thank you.
Dividing karma, it is very intricate, and it has many threads. As I said, this example I like very much is like a rug, it's like a piece of cloth with many threads that some of them run parallel and it crosses with many others. Be it in our own karma, it becomes a single thing apparently, but no, it's made of many things, and every single action that we take, good or bad, definitely goes to their respective, very precise. As the nature is, as the fruit will be. As the seed is, the fruit will be. So actually, we can start thinking about our mental and consciousness process as something that is accumulating. Every single action that our mind takes is falling into the respecting pot. Who knows what pot is going to be the most, the one that is the fullest? So it's the one that is going to give the characteristics of the new reconnection. That is, it's our responsibility moment to moment. Very, very, I feel some kind of joy. I feel some kind of security knowing that nature is logic. I have something to do. I am doing it. I cannot complain with nobody for internal or external, and I can guide it. So I feel some degree, I don't know, I hope it is shared, some kind of degree of relief. Nature works. We only need to attune to the good sides of it, and nature will do its job, never lie. Nature is true. It will never lie. It will never invent something. So very, very beautiful and complex. And this is the chapter that we will explore more details about it. Thank you, Per, for the question.
Okay, so let's continue. And also, I have read in Seattle Silananda's book, it says that we can see even in human realms, because of different kinds of karma. So some beings, they have better conditions, and some beings have less good conditions. So for the devas that are born without roots, sometimes they could be in a good such a good realm, but also they could be in a less good situation than other devas. No, so they could be also like here. So we also sometimes have servants and have people that do some kind of jobs for people who have better conditions. So in the Deva realms also, it could be they have huge mansions, and they may have some servant
Devas, servants.
Also all kinds of possibilities. It's also possible. And there are also Devas who does not have enough their good karma does not give them sufficient support for a very complete and very good life. So they could be hungry, and these devas, they could be hanging around in the forest, or they are looking for food. Also, in bad situations, or also even sometimes worse than human. Like some last week we said some kind of pets in house, a very good house could have a better life than some human beings, no, in the same way, although the realm or plane is different. Okay, now let's go ahead and with the next one. This 8 sahetuka kamavachara vipaka chitta. So meaning that sahetuka, that surely it is going to be with roots, no? So for this kind of resultant consciousness, it's also give a rebirth in the kamasukati realm, which is again human and deva. No? But in this case, since it is with roots, it is better than those that are without roots. And this karma is stronger. As we said, roots make the chitta stronger. No? Like the tree with roots are much stronger than those that are without roots. So here it says sensphere, karma vachara. So obviously it will only give result in karma vachara. No? It's not going to be in the Rupa Vachara or Arupa Vachara, so only belongs to sense sphere. So therefore, only as human or as Deva. We know that there are 3 kinds of good roots, which are Aloba, Adosa, and Amoha. So with these 3 good roots, previously we have already seen that Aloba and Adosa, they are universal mental factors. That means that with any kind of
for human beings,
any kind of
sorry.
For kusala. Yes, for Kusala or for Kusala Vipaka or for Kriya Chittas, then this I mean anything that has to associate with the beautiful chittas, no, in the name. So Sobana Chitta, no, we used to call them. So it's more easy than we know that it's everything else that is associated. All those chittas that are associated with beautiful consciousness, no. So those are always associated with Aloha and Adosa, but occasional ones are in these three roots. It is the Amoha, which is non wisdom, no?
That's not a guarantee, as we said before.
So any kind
Amoha or non-ignorance, wisdom needs to be cultivated. That's not a given, unfortunately. Otherwise, if we already contain it, we will be all enlightened. Just by being human, we will already be enlightened. So that's why it's required the work for it. But the other ones are a given. Unfortunately, in these good conditions that we are already right now, Aloba and Adosa as roots are present.
Yeah, so simply, in simple words,
yes,
that means that Aloba and Adosa will be always with those beautiful chittas, Sobana chittas. But wisdom, sometimes it is associated together and sometimes not. So it is not always together.
There are many people who do charity in the world. Actually, all of the religions, as far as I can tell, promote charity, but not all of them know that they are doing good and good is and what kind of results is going to create. So they take more care and more responsibility and doing it with happiness before, happiness in the middle, and happiness at the end. Also, goodness can be performed with not very positive mental state. Sometimes we make something to a person that is asking in order for that person to go away. So I have seen it personally, and that happens. So I saw one time a person was afraid of who came and asked for some money. Obviously, he smelled like alcohol and he was dirty and things. So I saw clearly that person gave the thing, okay, please take. So that person performed generosity, but the intention was not really clear. So in this case, if wisdom do not accompany our good actions, they will have a less good effect onto it. So wisdom necessary to be consciously cultivated.
Yes. Okay. So let's come back to this Sahetuka Kamawachara Vipaka. So here, meaning that result consciousness that are with roots, it could be of two kinds. It could be only with two roots, or it could be with three roots. So if it is if the action is done without wisdom, then it will be with only two roots, and if it is done with wisdom, then it would be with three roots. So therefore, in this case, there are again two types of beings which may be in the same realm. It could be Dvihetuka, meaning Dvi, two, Hetu, roots, Dvihetuka, two-rooted beings, or Ti-Hetuka, three-rooted beings, no? Ti-Hetuka. Okay, so in this case, there are these two types here. Now, why is it so important that we need to mention about this Ti-Hetuka, about this Amoha, wisdom? Because wisdom is such an important factor for development that then it is said that only a three-rooted being, a Ti-Hetuka being, a being that is born with the chitta that already contain the three roots,
has a ability for wisdom, a clearer ability for it, yes.
Have the possibility to get jhana and enlightenment only. So unfortunately, a being that is with only two roots, then in this very life, that does not mean that forever. Only in this lifetime, it is not possible to get jhana or enlightenment in this life.
Even if that we have spoken about it, even the person tries, it won't be possible, but definitely will be possible to come closer and develop further. So hopefully, if we have a love, in the same way that people have a love for mental obscurity and numbness and delusion and, sorry to say, stupidity, because that's what, for example, alcohol directly does onto our mind, just instill stupidity onto the temporary stupidity on it. We throw things, we may even pee or vomit or any kind of thing, say things that we regret later on. In the same way, someone who has love for mental clarity, mental stability, good action and wisdom specifically, naturally nature will give, if not in this life, that was not all the conditions fully for that person to be liberated from fully of suffering. Next life, we are doing right now this by joining together here, my dear family. See, please contemplate the beauty and the importance of giving ourselves and this mental process that we carry the opportunity to cultivate the conditions for it to help himself or herself and others to fully final liberation. We are doing it right now. So congratulations, and it's something to be rejoiced, dear Kalyanamitas, all of us. Thank you very much.
Yes, so most of the time, it is actually impossible to know whether one is born with 2 roots or with 3 roots. We cannot know.
Only a Buddha can.
So, so our teacher says that since you don't know, but we have to try. We have to keep trying. Also, it could be. Our teacher said most of the time, if you are interested in the Dhamma, if you are inclined to the practice, and if you can understand the teaching, that is very a high possibility that you are born with wisdom root as well. It is possible, but we cannot say exactly. But anyway, and if not, so what? We can't change it anymore. So if it is 2 root, okay, 2 root, then we try as much as possible in this lifetime, do the as much kusala with wisdom as possible. So hopefully the next one is going to be with wisdom.
If we already like wisdom, there is something there. There must be at least the liking. So that is in good direction. And there is a song. A phrase that since I'm a teenager touched me. It's a song by Mecano, and there is one phrase in one song that always have touched me, and I feel the same at this time. The song says, "Aunque en foto aparentemos más, somos solo 3 polillas que de tanto golpear contra el cristal se han colado en la bombilla." So I feel the same. Even if we have the 3rd root of wisdom, by our effort and by continuing pounding and pounding and pounding on the glass, even we are small as a, how you say, polilla, as a bug, as a night bug that is floating around the bulb, eventually we will break this code of nature and samsara, and break through and be fully liberated. Hopefully, after we get liberated, still have life energy to continue helping as much being as possible, my dear family. Let's continue pounding on the glass. One time the glass will be broken. Un día esta nuez se va a abrir.
Okay, so now then we finish with the 8 Kamavachara Kusala Vipaka, no? Then let's go to the other ones, which are quite easy to understand. Then the 5 other types of resultant consciousness that is possible to produce a rebirth consciousness. The next group is the fine material resultant chittas. So if you still remember, these are the resultant of jhana, yes?
Yeah, so when we die with jhana, then the consciousness, Patti Sandi, the next arrangement of elements will happening on that realm, because we can say vibration of mind. The string of an instrument vibrates in such a frequency by megahertz, it will give that note, not another one. And if you change the vibration of the note, it will naturally give another sound. So in the same way, consciousness vibrates, and the vibration that we end up with, it will just connect it directly with that vibration, consciousness vibration.
So with these 5 types of Rupavachara Vipaka Citta, which is the result of the 5 kinds of the jhanas, the different jhanas, then beings are going to be reborn into the 16 different kinds of fine material planes accordingly. So obviously, as we just said, that beings that attain jhana or attain the Maggaphala enlightenment are being 3 roots. So surely beings that are reborn here are 3-rooted beings.
3-rooted people.
Yes.
Lucky.
Well, they worked for it, not really lucky. Yeah. Okay, so let's go next.
Tadu.
So next one is similarly for the four arupa vachara vipaka, the four non-material resultant consciousness are the resultant consciousness or the rebirth consciousness for beings that are to be reborn into the non-material planes. So here also in the same way, it's even higher jhanas. Those are arupa jhanas. So beings that are born here are also three-rooted beings. They will surely be reborn with the three roots. Okay, so until here that we have seen that all kinds of rebirth consciousness that are correspondent to those beings that are in the different kinds of realms. Until here, any question?
¿Cómo estamos, querida familia? ¿Cómo vamos? ¿Bene? ¿Todos bien?
Everything okay?
Everything okay? Questions,
Need a
comments?
break?
Need a break?
I have a question, Dante.
Yes, go ahead, please.
So, Buddha's mother
Yes,
apparently couldn't get enlightened in her lifetime.
yes.
Was that because she wasn't born with the Moha root?
No, you know, she died before the Siddhartha Gautama, his son, became the Buddha. So she never listened to teaching. That's why the Buddha, after he gets enlightened, uses his powers to go and fetch and find his mother, his ex-mother, his previous mother, to share, Mama, look, this is what I imagine, how beautiful, I want to cry. Mama, look, I found the key to break samsara, the key to liberate from suffering. So she had definitely, I would say, and very interesting question to ask teachers, Ado, but I would say to be the mother of a Buddha, there must be something rolling on. But as we know, there were people already with wisdom before, like the sage that cried when he saw the Buddha, and the king asked him, you remember, why are you crying? And he has jhana, and he has wisdom already. And he says, King, beloved king, I cry because when your son discovers the truth, how to break the cycle of samsara, I will be dead already. I won't be able to listen. And he knows he's going to the Brahma or Arupa worlds because of the mental power he already developed. So in case of the mother, Diegaso, I think I would say it was because of she didn't have the possibility. Even people with wisdom, with the root of wisdom, without having the methodology, I mean, it's like someone who is very talented, but never had contact with a teacher. So he or she could never develop that potentiality. So it was a matter of time. That's why the Buddha go there and decides to teach the Abhidhamma. He don't go to preach a sermon. He don't go to speak about morality. He goes and preaches this very thing that we're exploring, the code of nature. So say, Mama, please take it on, work on it, apply it, and you will be liberated. And as we know, she did got enlightened in another in a non-human plane.
I have something that I think it's very important to say in here. I think that it is important for us to know that a being that is without the three roots, that is only with roots or without roots. Okay, so let's say a being must have three roots in order to get jhana or enlightened. Yes, so meaning that a being that is without three roots is not possible to get enlightened in this lifetime. But it does not mean that a being that has three roots is going to surely get enlightened in this life. That is not the same thing.
Yes.
Meaning, like, you have three roots. If you don't practice, or if one don't practice, it's also not possible. Just a few days ago, we read one sutta that is story time. Want some story? Yes, okay, so.
¿Cómo se ponen las caritas con la historia? Seguimos siendo cavernícolas, qué maravilla las historias, eso.
Okay, so, yes, there are questions. Can I finish the story?
Yeah, let's finish the story and we go, Ezequiel. Yeah, we saw. Okay, adelante.
Okay, so the suttas goes like in the lifetimes of the Buddha. So there was a couple to the monastery where the Buddha was. They came and then they are asking for leftover food.
In the
because
monastery.
they are poor, so they went to the monastery asking for leftover food. Then the Buddha saw them. Then the Buddha smiled. Then when the Buddha smiled, most of the time you would read the sutras. When the Buddha smiled, then because he wants to say something. So
Hasitupada, you remember the smiling consciousness arising in the Buddha generally because he wants to speak, say something.
Yes. Then Venerable Ananda, he knows the Buddha. No? He saw the Buddha's mind, and he said, Buddha, why did you
Venerable
smile?
Sir.
Then the Buddha said, you see these couple of beggars that are coming to look for food in the monastery here. So they were actually inherited with a great amount of wealth from their parents. And if they would have spent if they would have not spent their money, wasted their money, or if they would have engaged into business properly, they at this time, in the first part of life, if they would have done that, in this moment they would have been the richest person in the city,
whole city.
Now, or then the Buddha continued to say, or if this man, this husband, this beggar husband, if he would have give up his lay life, and if he would have ordained as a monk, would have become an arahant.
Imagine. And I was a beggar. He had the potentiality to become an arahant, but he didn't use his opportunity.
And then the Buddha said, then the lady, the beggar wife, if she would have give up her lay life and become a nun and practiced, and she would have attained the third stage of enlightenment.
Anagami. Imagine. So the Buddha was seeing, the Buddha could see all that. Where are they coming? They are now as beggars coming to ask for leftovers from the monastery. I mean, of course, imagine the Buddha. Please don't take my tone or anything. Please don't take my tone. There was a great wisdom going on there. So imagine they come and have the potentiality. He for being an arahant already, or the richest person in the mind, just because of wasting and their inheritance that they already got on that life. So with this incident that happened in the lifetime of the Buddha, we can see that actually even the person, even he could have become the richest person if he did the business, or even if he became a monk and he practiced, he could have become an arahant, and his wife could have become the third stage of enlightenment. But now they are beggars. So that means that they have the potentiality, but they didn't make use of their life. So again, karma is not destiny. It is not meant to be. It is not like okay, this guy is meant to be an arahant, so whatever he does, he's going to be an arahant. It's not like that. It is not destiny. It is effort, and it is a practice. So although the person have the possibility, he has the potential, but if he doesn't do anything, then it does not go nowhere. Then he stayed where he is, or worse, then he even spent all his wealth and become a beggar. So it depends very, very much on our decisions,
on our actions. So not destiny at all.
So
about the Diego, then so it is not exactly. If a person didn't get enlightened in this lifetime, it does not mean that he truly didn't have the root.
Even having the root, if we don't apply ourselves, is like the rebirth of the greatest pianist on the world in previous life, and he born in a place where in the jungle without piano, nothing to do. He has that potentiality, he has that previous practice and ability, but cannot develop it. So my dear family, question to bring things home. What are we going to do with the inheritance we already got? We already have food, house, clothing, and medicine, access to information, and love for wisdom. What are we going to do with this? I really wish the best for all of us to take the best steps calmly, steadily, and develop as much as we can. We can move forward. So, Diegazo, is it okay? Something else, or we go with Ezequiel?
It's okay. Thank you very much. Excellent explanation and tale.
Thank you, my dear brother. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Best wishes for all the family. Yes, Ezequiel, please go ahead.
Actually, you just answered my question, so there's no need for me to ask.
Okay.
Really.
What was it? Just shortly.
Well, I was curious what would have been your answer if the question was not targeted to Maya, the Buddha's real mother, but actually to Sudahana, was it her aunt?
Yeah, the auntie.
She joined the Sangha as a bhikkhuni, but I mean, you already answered it, so.
And
there's no
she
point.
got enlightened, fully enlightened. Rahula, the son of the Buddha, when he was 20 years old, he got enlightened. Wow, that family was lucky.
But they worked for it again.
They work.
Yeah.
Okay, Sharana. Yes, they work for it again.
There is no
In
destiny
previous
and
life,
no luck.
there is no luck.
Yeah, no
Unfortunately, there is no good luck, but there is also no bad luck.
Exactly.
So, very good. Even estamos empatados, señoras y señores. There is no good luck. Oh, what a bad thing. But there is also not bad luck. So
Which is good.
we cannot complain about the situation of the world. That's great. There is no bad luck.
Yes.
Only action.
Yes.
Action.
Let's remember
Good.
karma. Literally, it means action. So everything depends on our own action. Yes. So karma. Now that we're talking about this topic, karma literally is action. It's the time when we plant the seed. No, karma is also the chetasika of chetana, the intention. No, but generally, in general day-to-day life speaking, we use karma also including its result. Because when we say that something good happened, you have good karma, but actually that is not good karma. That is good vipaka.
We should be saying, you have very good vipaka. Yes. Not karma. You have very bad karma. No, you don't have very bad karma. If you're misbehaving, you have bad karma. But technically speaking, we should say, wow, you had a very beautiful kusala vipaka. Very nice. Now we can talk about clearly what are we dealing with.
Yes. So
I feel very happy that we can talk same language, same points. We can bring our minds to those precise characteristics of nature in order to invite investigation, get inspired, and be able to apply it consciously. We know what we are doing. And if we want to, now, my dear family, since the beginning of this course, we told you, are you sure you want to join? Because it will be harder and harder to cheat yourself later on. The more we know, the less we can cheat ourselves. Oh no, I didn't know this was bad. You didn't know it was bad, my dear. Welcome. To know is better. It will bring better, much more conscious and stable happiness. We will see it. Better to know, not to know. Okay. Yes, Fer, go ahead.
They were diligent.
Yes, diligent. That's the word. Not pressure, not effort, not doing, but consistency. Diligent, relax, just keep swimming. Like Dory Zen master, just keep swimming, swimming. Go diligently. I'm sorry to bring this example, but you will remember next time you see cartoons with your children. Just keep swimming, keep doing Appamadena Bhikkhave Sampadeta. Please act wholeheartedly with all sincerity, and the goodness of nature will be manifested soon or later. It will depend in our action. Definitely, my dear family. Thank you, Fer. Yes, Appamadena Bhikkhave Sampadeta, the last words of the Buddha. Even the last thing that came out of his mouth before passing away was, please, monks, practitioners, don't forget, practice awareness, sati, work diligently towards that. Don't procrastinate. Don't waste time. This is a precious opportunity. Sadhu. Thank you, Fer. Thank you for the reminder. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu.
Porque le gustó lo que dijo.
Okay.
Thank you.
Yes. Anybody else wants to share
Someone
something?
else? Feel free, my dear family. And as we used to tell in our workshops, of children and the workshops we did before with music and things, when the first day people arrive into the room, we said, okay, we will only ask you to throw something to the rubbish before you come into this room. And they say, yes, what? Shyness. Please throw shyness into the rubbish bin, because that's the only thing, the only obstacle that allow us not to continue understanding and growing. Please, when we open this, the thing that you will drop in the rubbish bin, and I will advise you to keep it there, is one of the useless things in the world. So go ahead, my dear family, full invitation, bring the questions, let's explore together. You are very welcome. You know we are in family and we can explore.
Yes, Eduardo.
Yes, Edward.
Yes, I have a question. You just mentioned that only the 3 root beings can obtain jhana and be enlightened.
Yes.
Yeah.
I was wondering if you mean like the fully enlightened or even Sotapanna stage.
Sorry, even what? The question is
If
what?
you're born already as a Sotapanna or fully enlightened, or como? How?
No, my question is only 3 root beings can obtain the fully enlightened stage, the first stage, or even the first stage is impossible for 2
First stage
root
also
beings.
impossible.
Okay.
Not even jhana, not even any magafala.
Nothing.
Okay.
I mean, but possible to cultivate understanding
closer,
and wisdom. What we are, the minimum we are doing right now, because in the case, hopefully not, that we didn't have the root of wisdom, we are doing already. We're getting closer, we're trying. But as the teacher says, el río suena es porque agua llevas, there's at least a liking, a love for wisdom. So I think there are possibilities. It's not something so far, but yes, without the 3rd root, unfortunately, the credit is not enough. It is like teachers sometimes give the example, like, you see, in the university, I'm sure that at least 20% of the students try to get the highest mark, but only one do it. This is not even for people who try. Often is not the case. Even they put the effort and put the things. The same happens that happens not only for spiritual. It is not something like bad news for spiritual development. It also happens in the world, depending on our potentiality. Our effort will support. It's only a cause for support, but not the element that will be defining our achievement. So we need to continue trying, because we will never know until we arrive far in the path. We may have some glimpses, but we can.
Thank you
Yes.
very much.
Somebody else raise a hand or not? We continue.
Okay, so we have only around 15 minutes, and I think it's just good to give you this last information to close today's session, since we have been talking about different beings. Different beings with roots and without roots, or how they are, which type of rebirth consciousness then they are born with into the different realms. Yes. So now there is a little chart that we made to show in a graphical way, like how there are different types of beings that you will find in when you read the Abhidhamma, or also sometimes in the suttas. So simply, then you can see here with Dugati, with the unhappy destination, beings are always born without roots. So there's always Ahetuka, always rootless. And in the Sugati, which is the happy destination, then it is further divided into Ahetuka, 2-rooted and 3-rooted. Okay. Yes, as we have seen. So in happy destination, also some beings are born without root. As we have seen, those beings might have some kind of physical or maybe mental disabilities. Then we have beings that have 2 roots, meaning Aloba and Adosa. Yes, because Sugati, no, surely they are born there because of a wholesome resultant, Kusa Vipaka, no? So they could be with Aloba and Adosa. Then, and also there are other beings that are born with all the 3 roots, Aloba, Adosa, and Amoha, 3 roots. Now, among the beings that are born with the 3 roots, then we can also divide them into non-enlightened beings or also enlightened beings. Yes, so some of the 3-rooted beings, they have not attained enlightenment yet, and some of them already attained enlightenment. Now, needless to say, those 2-rooted or Ahetuka beings, they are surely non-enlightened beings. Yes.
Cannot.
Yes. Okay. So until here,
Now,
I think
cannot now.
in this
in that life.
lifetime, no?
Fortunately,
So later it
nature
possible.
is a movable, it's flexible,
Yes.
and it will change. It's not forever.
Not forever.
Nothing is forever.
Okay. So now there is another interesting thing here. Then among the enlightened beings, then they are still divided into another groups, which precisely they are called the Sotapati Magata and Sotapati Phalata, which are the stream enterer path or stream enterer fruit. So what does it want to say? The Sotapanna is stream entry. Now remember that is the first stage of enlightenment. So what it wants to say is the person that has attained the Maga Chitta, attained Maga, Sotapati Maga, then at that moment he is a Sotapati Maga being, no? Then in the next moment, then then the Phala will arise after Maga. So then from that moment on, he will become a Sotapati Phalata person. Yes. Okay.
Actually, Maga state only lasts for one cheetah. Only so one cheetah is almost, billion, no? But it's so powerful. Remember, it's so powerful that it uproots the negativity. That's the very moment, microscopic, ultra microscopic moment when the mind manages to take negativity out. Then the lineage of Gotrabu is changed, and that person cannot be called a worldly anymore. That's a noble being already. He already had the ability to extirpate, I don't know how to say in English, took away the uproot the negativity, be it
some kinds of
loba or dosa, or hopefully the last one, moha as well.
Yes. So actually, Sotapati Magata being only exists for a 1 billionth moment, no? Because in the next moment, immediately he becomes a Sotapati Phalata person.
9 billionths of a second.
Yes. Okay. Then in the same way, then Sakadagami, which is the once returner, the second stage of enlightenment, also divided into path and fruit. Then Anagami, in the same way, non-returner path, non-returner fruit. Then Arahata Maga and Arahata Phalata, Arahata fruit. So therefore, for the noble beings, the enlightened beings, it is said that there are the 4 pairs, meaning eight type. No?
You remember when we recite the precepts? The qualities of the Sangha. Yeah.
And when we recite, there is the qualities of most of the time, every day, when we recite the quality of the Buddha, quality of the Dhamma, and quality of the Sangha. So in the later on, I will send it to you in case you don't know. I will send the Pali and I also send the English as well. Okay. So in the quality of the Sangha, it is said that there are these 8 beings that are worthy of respect. Yes. And are worthy of offerings. No. So what these 8 beings? What are these 8 beings that they're talking about? Actually, are these 8 beings?
Yeah, remember Yadidam Chatari Purisa Yugani Ata de ocho Purisa from beings Atiras Ata Purisa Pugala Esa Bhagavato Sawaka Sango. That is the noble Sangha of the Buddha, those who already got enlightened. So we are talking about nivelón, señoras y señores. Aquí hay nivelón.
So these 8 beings that are mentioned in the qualities of the Sangha are actually the 8 types of beings now, as we see here, which are the enlightened beings.
I just want to share one image that just came to the mind, and I think it can work. Imagine that suffering is a thorn that we had on the feet or somewhere. Suffering is a thorn. We are already born with the thorn. We are only trying with all this trying to find the thorn, get the thorn, and take it out. Right on that precise moment when the Maga happens is the moment, so small. The thorn, have you ever got a aguate? Aguate from a cactus, how you say, not tuna, you are eating tuna, and then you get aguate. So small and so annoying. For days and days, we cannot find it. It's almost invisible, and we are trying and trying and trying and trying, and it is small, and it is always nagging. And later on the very single moment when we figure out where it is precisely, we get the right tool to do it, and suddenly, pling. How long did it took to take the thorn away? Nothing. Just like Maga moment is that very moment when we take the source of suffering, that means the thorn, and we got enlightened forever. can't rest again. I think I will use that example from now on. Does it work? It works? Yes, it works. I can see the faces. Yeah, don't worry about meditation. Just take the suffering away.
But the moment of taking it out, like Bante said, is the maga, which is only one mind moment,
Bling!
only one chitta. How it is like just to uproot the whole. Let's say in the first stage, the whole DT is gone. And there's just only one moment. But to find it, of course, the practice before that is, which is vipassana, it will take time.
Let's
So
find the thorn. Find the thorn. Oh, if someone just comes at this moment and joins the Zoom meeting or something, we'll say, what the heck are these guys talking about? Find the thorn.
Mm-hmm.
Find the thorn. Unplug it.
Okay, so
okay, Charana, very good. You are my friend. You are my friend. I love you. Go ahead. Very good.
Okay, so there are these 8 beings here, and now you may say, then if the maga and phala happens just one moment after the other, then this maga being only exists for this one tiny one moment. In this moment, this being is called magata being. And then in this moment, he is already a phalata being. So before I was thinking, I was like, so why does they have to say that there is a maga being and a phala being? Then we just say the phala being because it is just one moment away. And it is not possible that he stayed in maga and does not attain phala. It is not possible because it is just the nature of how the mind works.
You remember in the word that when we speak about the Dhamma's qualities, akaliko, means kaliko means kala means moment, so that means immediate. There is immediate result from goodness. There is immediate result. The Buddha was precisely talking about this microscopic moment. It is immediate. If you get maga, in the next very moment of consciousness, it will come phala. It is impossible to separate, stay in maga or postpone. Okay, I get maga, but I take this later. Impossible. It's akaliko, immediate fruition from our good actions. So nature is like that. So we can also trust, again, get our trust and mental stability on the reality of nature, the beauty of nature.
Mm-hmm. So since, as Bante said, it is not possible to postpone phala, and then when there is maga, then phala will immediately come. So maga being exists for like billionth, one of the billionth moment. Then why does it? I was thinking the other, why is it necessary then to even mention the maga being if it is just become a phala being in the next moment?
Mm-hmm.
Then later on, then I was thinking that actually in the Abhidhamma Sangaha there is a section explains what kind of beings these individuals are possible, that you can find these kind of beings in which kind of realms.
Mm-hmm.
So now let's do a very short little exercise. So in the 4 that I need everybody to answer, yeah? Okay, so you can switch
turn on your mics. Turn on your mics, my friend.
Let's work. I'll bring a little bit, everybody. Now, in the 4 lower realms, is it possible to find rootless beings?
Yes.
Yes, obviously. Everybody born there with rootless.
Yeah,
no?
there they go, yeah.
Yes. So is it possible to find 2-rooted beings?
No.
Not possible. They are not born there. Yes. So is it possible to find 3-rooted beings?
No.
Oh, not possible. Yes. Okay, there are exceptions here. Now, this is exceptional case. Now, when the Buddha or when some beings that have jhana, then they have supernormal power, and if they visit the lower plane for just a moment, then in the lower plane there exists a three-rooted being at that moment. Yes, there is a possibility for a little while. So it is possible that you can find a 3-rooted being if the Buddha or if a person who has abhinya visited that place at that moment, only that time. Then otherwise, there are no 2-rooted, no 3-rooted, no enlightened beings in the lower realms. Okay?
Normally not, but they could visit. If they go, there is a possibility.
But they are not born there, no, surely. Yes? Okay, until here we're fine. Now, human realms. Can we find rootless being in human realms?
No.
Yes.
Yes? No?
Yes. How many yeses? How many no-nos?
Right?
Yes. No.
No.
Yes. No.
Rootless.
No.
Yes.
No. Yes. No.
Okay. So,
Trrrr. And the question, there are more no's for it. Wait.
okay, so we have seen that the rootless being that are born in the human realm or the devil realm, well, we only talk about human.
Yes.
It's actually possible. Well, who are they? Those beings with mental or physical
Disabilities. You remember a person, unfortunately, with Down syndrome or with autism or some degree of physical inability, it is said that the possibility exists. That's why, you see, their credit was enough. And they came to this realm, but the roots they had were not enough. As Charana just said, it's really serious to take this really seriously, this example of the tree. A tree with heavy roots, with big roots, will be strong and healthy naturally, because it's where the place where it will get the energy. So, oh, by the way, unbelievable. We're in the class of Pali, and the teacher says, okay, there is a kind of organism in the universe. So what is this word? And he said, pada ¿qué? Pada feeding. Padapa. He said, what is this being? Padapa.
Let me check.
So it says pada
Not
means
being,
feet. I say organism. Pada is feet. Feet, the feet of something. Pada, el pie. Y pada, ¿no? ¿Cómo era?
No, padapa.
Padapa.
Pada is a feet
Of
just
food.
trying to figure out what this word means now. Pada is feet. And pa is from the root meaning to drink.
To drink. So what kind of thing is
drink from
feet? Drink feet. What do you imagine this is? Imagine how beautiful the Pali can be, how deep it can go, and how you will see now. What thing is something that is drink from the feet?
That's a lot of tips already.
Oh,
yeah, I told you a lot already.
The root
of tree. Yeah. That's the word for tree. Something that drinks from the feet. Padapa. It drinks from the feet, obvious. But the teacher, I messed it up because the teacher just told us the word, and we were like for 20 minutes. What can this be? Yeah, of course, a tree. Something that drinks from the feet. Precisely. Well, you will see, Pali, how beautiful it goes. It goes as raw as that, to see nature in the very essence. A thing that drinks from the feet is a tree. So we were like, wow, very beautiful. We will continue telling you the gems of in the etymology of Pali.
Okay.
So
wait, come back.
Come back.
We're
yes.
talking about human realms. Is it possible to have non-rooted beings? Okay, so that
possible.
Was something else in quotation marks.
Yes.
Okay, so it is possible. Now, how about but remember here, those rootless resultant consciousness are wholesome resultant, no? Because they are born into the human realm because of good deeds, no, not because of bad deeds. With bad deeds, they're surely into the four lower realms. But human, it's a good result without root. Yes. Okay. Now, then, is it possible for human realm to find two-rooted beings?
Yes.
Yes. Okay.
All of us, fortunately.
Yes, surely, at least.
All of us, we have to. Congratulations, ladies and gentlemen.
Okay, now 3 roots possible.
Yes.
Hopefully one of us, at least one. Hopefully all of us have it. We don't know.
Okay, then how about, is it possible to find a Sotapati Maga being in human realm? Possible?
For an instant. Yeah.
For Sotapati,
we just saw it. Boom! The moment of plucking the thorn.
Yes. Sotapati Phala person in human realm. Possible. Okay. Then second stage, Sakadagami Maga person. Possible.
Yes.
Possible.
Okay. Sakadagami Phala person, second stage Phala person.
Possible.
Oh
yeah,
okay.
all of them.
So third, fourth also possible. Yes.
Even Arahantship.
Also possible.
And
okay.
Buddhahood.
Okay. Now Deva realm, possible to have no rooted beings.
Yeah.
Possible? Yes. 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 Yeah. We said those wholesome consciousness, a wholesome resultant that is without root also for devas also possible. Yes.
Possible.
So, but those are devas that are less fortunate or less powerful, let's say, than other devas.
There might be some devas who are blind as well. So let's get into the reality. We are not talking about something like further. Although in the paintings and pictures they put it like angels or something higher. No. It's just as messy can be. I mean, it's more developed, but as messy as human realms can be. We also explored a week ago that even there are devas that could harm others. There's still some kind of negativity in the mind and ignorance. Not yet free from samsara.
Yes. Okay. So let's go ahead and continue.
Okay.
Two-rooted beings in the deva realms.
Yes.
Possible, yes. If rootless, also possible. Two-rooted, surely possible.
Three-rooted.
Because beings can do a lot of kusala. They can be very generous. They can be very with very good morality, but they don't have wisdom. They don't understand. But they have a good nature. They want to do a lot of good. So they could be reborn into a very good realm because of their wrong action, but because they didn't understand, didn't have wisdom. So possible that they were born with two roots. Possible, yes. Then three roots possible.
Yes.
Yes, possible. Okay.
Alex, you raise your hand, Alex, or no?
No. Okay. Possible. Now next, and then Sotapati Maga person possible. Deva realms. Yes. Okay. And they also act and they enlighten. So Sotapati person. If a Maga person possible, Bala person
yes.
there will be yes. So second stage of enlightenment, third stage of enlightenment, fourth stage and enlightenment possible.
Possible.
For Deva. Yes.
Devas can get enlightened. Yes.
Okay, Deva also possible. So all stage of enlightenment possible for Deva. Now let's go to fine material realm. Okay, fine material realm. And ahetuka beings, no rooted being possible.
No.
Not possible.
No,
Yes.
many no's. Very
possible.
good. Everybody say no. Everybody says no,
yes.
except the ones who didn't say nothing. Very good. Very good.
Not possible. Why? Because a being must be with how many roots to get jhana?
Three.
Not to get jhana must have three
so
roots.
They
yes?
definitely arrive there. Three roots.
No roots not possible to be get jhana and reborn then not possible.
Yeah.
So how about two roots possible?
No.
Not possible.
Not possible.
Because they need to get three root only. So three root from a non-material, only three root.
Yeah,
yes.
three root possible. Then three root. Then in fine material realm. Maga person possible? No? Oh, yes. Yeah? Okay. Possible. Okay, now the answer is... Okay, so a fine material being, that means that they still have a body, yes? They still have what to have for material. They don't have all kinds of sensitivity. They have only eye sensitivity, they have ear sensitivity, but they don't have nose sensitivity, they don't have tongue sensitivity, and they don't have touch sensitivity. So about matter, they can see, they can hear. So it is said that they look maybe a little bit, they might have a nose or thing, but they don't smell anything. They don't touch, they don't taste.
They don't taste.
So because it's not the nose is lacking, it's the sensitivity inside is lacking, no? So,
and they don't need it because their body is subtle matter. So they don't really need food as we know it.
And also,
they also don't poo. Nothing in, nothing out.
And also remember, beings arrive to jhana, arrive there because the five hindrances are being subdued, no? So no sense desire, yes? So they don't need to taste something very good, smell something very nice, or touch something very good because they don't have sense desire. I mean, at that moment, not most of these beings, they don't want to have any things that is central, no? So you may say, then why they want to have eyes and have ears? They want to see a nice movie or listen to some music or what, no? So
Netflix.
actually, they still have sensitivity and ear, because then in this case they are possible to see the Buddha, and they are minds they know teach they can develop further. So that means,
Yes.
so for them it is also possible to listen to the Buddha, see the Buddha, and then practice and get enlightened. So Sotapatti Magga
Possible.
person possible. Okay.
Yes.
So if Magga possible, Phala also possible. Yes. Then if you get the first stage, second, third, fourth, Arahant possible. Yes, all possible. Now, okay, let's go to the last realm. Now, for a non-material realm, okay, non-material realm, arupa beings, no more materiality, only mind. So possible ahetuka, no rich being, not possible, okay.
Too high already.
Not possible. Not possible.
Everybody know, very good.
Okay, three-rooted, possible? Yes, possible. Actually, everybody that is born there, at least three-rooted. Now, Sotapatti Magga person possible?
Yes, no.
Okay, some yes, some no.
Do we have? I wish I have to show you this picture. Oh, maybe you are seeing there are two in the same room. The one like this. Oh, I can see we're gonna have trouble after we close this computer. There are gonna be troubles in
no trouble, because this is gonna be clear.
No, it's just a spiritual discussion. We can call it.
Okay, so decided?
Yes or no? Yes, photo.
So this is not possible. Why? Why?
Something's gonna happen here. Yeah, something's gonna happen.
Okay, so those, now we will ask you, those who said no, why not?
Why not?
They cannot hear the Dhamma.
Okay, and somebody else?
What else? Andrea? Akas.
Yes, they can hear.
Something else? Good. So, yes, it's not possible. Why?
But why?
Why?
If they cannot hear, why they can't get enlightened if they cannot hear?
They can hear the Dhamma?
If they cannot hear the Dhamma, why can't they
They
get enlightened?
cannot hear the Dhamma there. So?
So?
They previously heard.
They previously heard it? If they previously heard it?
Okay, now.
Okay.
Okay, so actually it is not possible, and the answer is correct because they could not hear the Dhamma and they could not read the Dhamma. Yes, because there are books also if it's possible, but they don't have no eyes and they have no ears. So
wait, she's talking about Sotapanna, eh?
Yes, Sotapatti
Magga, the first one. Oh, let's be clear.
Yes.
Sotapatti Magga, the first one.
Sotapatti Magga.
Yes.
Okay. So that means that if a person that is reborn into the non-material realms that is not enlightened yet, no? Yes.
He just had jhana and went there.
Yes, he is not enlightened yet. So if he has no method, if he cannot read, if he cannot hear, then he has no way. He don't know how to practice. So therefore, he cannot get enlightenment, the first stage of enlightenment.
The first stage of enlightenment, because he don't have the how to do, what to do. He didn't listen to the Dhamma, don't have the tools, don't have the methodology. He arrives there and he stays for very long. That's why our teacher says, don't go to Brahma realm before you get enlightened, because you can spend a very long. Then when you come back maybe to the human realm, and it is time, but because the lifetime there was so many eons, so long it was, maybe you arrive and the Dhamma is already dead in the planet. So you cannot hear. You need to wait for the next Buddha to come arise and etc. So, yes.
Okay, so yes, not possible. Yes, because they
first
don't
stage.
know the way. Yes. Okay, now listen. Sotapatti Phala person possible to find in non-material realm.
Possible to find Sotapatti Phala.
Phala.
Already the fruit. Possible?
Possible?
Changing views. Yes, no, or yes and no. ¿Quién da más?
Okay, some yes, some no. Okay, the answer is... Yes. Why is that? If a person he practiced it, jhana, and he has attained the first.
He already enlightened. He already Sotapanna, Phala,
Sotapatti, Magga, and Phala. Let's say in the human realm.
Then he died.
Then he died.
She died. He or she died.
Okay.
Sorry.
Wait,
She
wait,
died.
wait,
Let's say
Yes. Okay. Let's say that person. He is a human being. He attained jhana, and he attained the first stage of enlightenment. That means he is already a Sotapatti Phala being. Yes.
he dies.
So
She
he
dies.
died with jhana. He is reborn into the
Brahma realm.
Possible, no?
Possible.
Yes. So that's why a Sotapatti Phala person is possible to be found in the non-material realm.
Yes.
But a Sotapatti Magga person not
Cannot.
possible.
Cannot.
Because he cannot get enlightened there. Yes?
Yes.
If he is already enlightened, he can be reborn there. But he cannot get enlightened there. So therefore, for Sotapatti Magga person, not possible. Sotapatti Phala person, possible.
So?
Is that clear? Understand?
Yes. So?
Okay. So in this case, Sakadagami Magga person?
Possible to find or not? Magga. Sakadagami Magga.
Yes, possible, yeah? So
yes.
Because if the person is
already enlightened.
He is already a Sotapanna Phala person. So because he knows the way already, he just have to keep practicing by himself.
He knows what to do. You see the importance in this life to get the methodology. If we don't get enlightened in this life, at least let's bring the methodology with us, wherever we follow, at least the tools. Let's bring them, then whatever happens, we already know. Yeah. The methodology really important. Then that person, because he knows already how to do, how he did it, then he can continue and very comfortably. He has a lot of time, no sounds, no smells, no taste, only mind happening by itself in very beautiful mental states to put hand sanitizer, to etc., feed it, etc., without getting old as we know it. So very nice.
Mm-hmm. Okay. So now that we finished also this exercise, which is really good and
very good, very good.
With participation also. Thank you so much, everybody. So
very good.
In this way, we further our understanding, no? Because we think a little bit of the possibilities. Yes. Okay. So now we have gone through all the realms and all types of beings, whether it is possible or no. Now I think we have already found the answer of why it is separated into Maggata being and Phalata being already. Yes?
That's why the 4 kinds of beings and the 8 kinds of beings, because it's the Buddha's view. Let's remember that he was not focused locally or provincially like to the town of the planet Earth. He was thinking, his mind is open to the whole possibilities of the universe. That's why he was mentioned. And sometimes why 4 and why 8? Well, this is the very reason. Very interesting, no? Very nice.
As a summary, because in the Arupa realm, non-material realm, you cannot find any Sotapatti Magga person. Not possible, because a person cannot get enlightened there. But you can find a Sotapatti Phala person, because a person can get enlightened in another realm, in the human world or Deva world, and practice jhana and be reborn there. So a person can be reborn into the non-material realm already as a Phala, Sotapatti Phalata person. Okay. So therefore, Magga person not possible, but talking about the man. Okay, so in this case, then we have finished about all types of beings. So altogether, there are 12 types of beings. In short, it will be the Ahetuka.
It's not. Yeah.
Okay. Yes, Ahetuka, rootless being in the Dukati, unhappy realms. Then we have Sukati Ahetuka, meaning happy destination, rootless being, 2-rooted being, 3-rooted being, and the Sotapatti Maggata person, Phalata person, and so on. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. So all together, there are these 12 kinds of individuals that are described in the scriptures.
Yes, and it is says, we're finishing? Finishing now?
Finishing.
And it is said, my dear family, just to bring the information complete, in this saying, after they say, the Buddha explains the 8 kinds of beings are is the most benefit one can enjoy from the merits we do with them, because those persons are already clean, and generally they have the tendency to share with others. So it comes the link between the student and the teacher comes there, and it is a beneficial being who has better sila, samadhi, better panya. The fruits of our generosity are much greater, because the use of that means of that donation, be it food, be it money, be it any service, whatever it can be done, it is highly. That's why the Buddha specifically says that if the more you support the people, like in our case we do with our teachers, the people who is dedicating their lives for mental purity, the greater fruit is gonna give in your karmic potentiality, because those people will not keep the thing you donated for themselves. They will use it to benefit. They are like nodes of wholesomeness and goodness that will be spreading to so many other people, that later on the seed will be continue to doing so. So with that in mind, that's why sometimes people have asked why sometimes I felt some kind of a reaction towards why the Buddha speak about those people, those beings are worthy of offerings, gifts, hospitality, generosity, respect, putting the hands together towards them. So that is why the Buddha. So with that in mind, let's keep. I just want to make a reminder to all of us, because we also are part of it. We also support our teachers in any way, my dear family. From this tree that we are cultivating, we are we all planted the tree already. We also do the same with our teachers. Let's continue whichever efforts are there in order to continue the longevity, the lifespan of this teaching that might be useful for us in future life. We can do it even for ourselves. Let's keep an eye, and please let's set up ourselves and remembering that this is a practice, and the only way that this teaching has been kept for many generations is because of that how you say, functioning, this mutual support. And to say we must I feel the need to say in this, because in our culture definitely, and we can tell you from firsthand, is not yet working anymore. It is not working yet, I would say. But we have some responsibility to allow informing everyone, because in the case we already made our part, or are making our part, to bring the Dhamma to Mexico, for example. In the case we die and the functioning or the relation between lay people and monastic is not rolling on, all the efforts we feel, even for personal, all the efforts we are trying to put will be gone, because there will be no support. We don't know if the next monk or nun that comes after us to Mexico or the monastery, even now we cannot be there. Do you see how the karma works? We cannot even be there by ourselves. We don't know if the next man will be, or nun will be able to find the ways, because we were having a lay life, to continue supporting the teaching for our children and our grandchildren. So it is a matter of all of us. We must understand it. And above all, remember that generosity is a practice who focuses on dealing directly with this. We must go on, and we want all this benefit to continue for generations, and also even benefit ourselves. My dear family, we need to take it seriously and try to support as much as we can. And really honestly, this is what we do. We do the same with our own teachers. That's the only way. And in our case, because I have the support, for example, from Charana, our teachers don't have that. They really depend on the food. We have seen monks that depend, really, if they don't go out round, they don't eat that day. Yeah. So really, there are some even of our teachers that depend directly from the support. So let's put our part, and that is why the Buddha made that. I just want to make it clear, in our culture needs to be informed, and we must make this machine running, because we might die at some point, and who knows if the other monk or not tries to come, or may not even be able to continue. If the conditions are not present, we need to start applying ourselves, and above all, understanding that there is a practice for eradicating detachment. That's the most direct thing. So it's an open invitation, really. I know I tell you with confidence. and we are doing the same. So with that in mind, my dear family, let's support. May our generosity be placed on a place where it can give the most fruit for the benefit of all. And with that intention, our practice is already a way of putting our grain of sand. But remember that this is only making kusala at the intellectual level. For the physical level, everything must be matched. Remember, kama that pertains mind acts on mind, and kama that pertains matter acts on matter. So we must make a balance, and let's keep the practice at hand. And at this moment, may our generosity of mind, may our generosity of action or generosity be helpful for the liberation of all of us from all the asawas, all the deepest negativities that we already carry. Let's get responsible about our anger, about our attachment, lust, greed, anxiety, non-acceptance, immaturity, and ignorance. So we can be of support to our families that are right at this moment. We hear very closely how even members of our own family are not being able to make peace with nature. So may we ourselves embody in all its aspects, not just in the intellectual sides, in all its aspects, make the teaching alive so it continue for many generations after we are gone, and hopefully inspire our family and give some alivio. I don't know how to say, some situation is showing. My dear family, I just want to be realistic. It is possible that at least for some weeks, the situation will worsen. And I am afraid that when people start feeling the need for daily needs, already our country have an index of misbehavior that is quite high. There are possibilities that it will grow. It's natural, unfortunately. Everything is always in its place, and we must be ready. As long as lobha, dosa, and moha exist in the samsara, the effects will be natural. We must counteract that with our practice, with our best intention, and physical actions. We must start doing something for the benefit of our family. Let's remember our grandparents, wherever they are, our parents, brothers, sisters, sons, grandsons. The people we know, the people we don't know, the people we have had troubles in the past, all beings in the universe, especially those who are having trouble mentally, emotionally, physically. We embrace them and offer the fruits of this session, of this coming together as a family, exploring in such a nice way. I appreciate to be together. We offer the fruits of this benefit for the peace, inner peace of all the beings in the universe. Through the goodness that arises from my practice, may my spiritual teachers and guides of great virtue, my mother, my father, and my relatives, the sun and the moon and all virtuous leaders of the world, may those who are friendly, indifferent, or hostile, may all beings receive the blessings of my life. May they soon attain the threefold bliss and realize the deathless. Through the goodness that arises from my practice, and through this act of sharing, may all desires and attachments quickly cease, and all harmful states of mind, until we realize Nibbana in every kind of birth. May we have an upright mind, with mindfulness and wisdom, austerity and vigor. May the forces of delusion not take hold, nor weaken my resolve. The Buddha is my excellent refuge, unsurpassed is the protection of the Dhamma. The solitary Buddha is my noble Lord. The Sangha is my supreme support. Through the supreme power of all these, may darkness and delusion be dispelled. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. May darkness and delusion be dispelled from the inside and to the world. May all of us enjoy mental stability, health, and give the necessary steps towards maturity. Thank you very much, my dear family. It is really, really very auspicious and wholesome to have a party like this. I really feel like we attended a very wholesome party, and we enjoy, we laugh, we share, we explore, we connect, and I really appreciate to have these Kusala encounters. May we continue and inspiring, and also the encounters we have with others, may we start bringing wisdom elements onto it and let wisdom and the nature of nature do its magic. Thank you really, really, really wholeheartedly for being together and trying. It's a pleasure. Tanto tiempo, tantos mundos, tantos 31 mundos, tanto espacio y coincidir. So thank you so much for being in this one. Let's not stop and try our best. We have a great potentiality and we have the tools. The rest is up to us. Thank you very much.
Thank you, everybody.
Thank
Have
you.
a nice week ahead.
Thank you.
Sadu, sadu, sadu.
Sadu, queridos. Que estén muy bien, los amamos, todos fuerte, fuerza, queridos. Ahí viene la olita, sigue pasando a surfear. Aquí tenemos algunos surferos, saben cómo hacerle. Que si para arriba, que si para abajo, a disfrutar, enjoy the ride. Enjoy the ride. Nos vemos, queridos.
Hasta luego, nos vemos.
¿Dónde
Next
gaso,
week is
Guillermo?
going to be good as well. We're going to enter Kama.
Enter Kama next week, my dear family. Remind everybody who is around. It's gonna be very interesting. Now we will see the threads, the beauty of nature in its woven. How nature is woven. Thank you, everyone. We continue.
Okay.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Continue as a reminder. Continue reflecting on the blessing of Seadong Nandamala. I think everybody already received it. Continue. There is very, very deep love and very deep wisdom in those words. Let's continue recollecting. The recording was very nice, done by Marcelo. So very, very beautiful, my dear family. Please continue and let's make our part. Make our part. Best of the luck.
See you.
Bye-bye. 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 Thank you.